why should young people and students get vaccinated?
People who are not vaccinated in this particular situation are very likely to get the disease at some stage. They're going to get it. And okay, it may be mild in most cases, but in some cases, even in young people, it can be quite a difficult disease. There's also the issue that if they get the disease, they pass it on to other people. So it is critically important that young people get vaccinated.
Yes. Thank you so much for the answer. Uh, what are the risks of getting vaccinated? What are the possible risks of getting, any kind of side effect or any sort of problem after getting vaccination?
So, of course, again, vaccines, you always have to be concerned about the risk and the benefit from taking the vaccine. In this case, I think hundreds of millions of people have now been vaccinated. And it's very clear that the vaccines, the ones that we have in the UK that are regulated, are very, very safe. If you look at the issues of COVID compared to what the issues might be of being vaccinated, then the risk-benefit ratio is perfectly in favour of being vaccinated. You might get a pain at the site of the injection for a couple of hours, but more than that, it's nothing of any significance.
So the pain is the only sort of transient for getting vaccination. Okay. And what are the possible risks of not getting vaccine or of not getting vaccines?
Well, the risk is, as I say, the risk is that you will get the disease. There's no question. So the benefit is always about getting vaccinated.
Where should young people go to find more information about vaccines?
Yeah, I think the important thing is to go to a reliable source like a GP. You cannot just go on the internet and ask questions because there's enormous amount of misinformation. So the most reliable information is a healthcare worker, a GP or a nurse. But I think most young people, if they have a problem, then they should consult their GP.
Can students attend class if they are not vaccinated?
Yeah, there is no issue about that. There is no regulation that says they cannot attend lectures if they're not vaccinated. Now, of course, people may make a decision in different universities, but to my knowledge at Brunel, there is no decision about stopping people attending lectures because they have not been vaccinated.
Thank you so much. So what happened to the students whose vaccines are not recognized by UK regulators or regulatories?
Well, again, that's not an issue for the university. If the student has been vaccinated, then the student will feel that they have got resistance to the disease. So regulated in the UK or not, that's not an issue for the university. If you feel as a student that you've been vaccinated with a vaccine that doesn't work, which is quite rare, then that's an issue for the student, not for anything to do with the student and the university.
What limitations will there be on students who are not at all vaccinated?
When you go to university, you're part of a community, aren't you? I mean, you know what your vision is for students and the student union. You want to live as a community. You want to enjoy each other's company. You want to enjoy all the things that are going on. And I think you feel more comfortable in a community that's been vaccinated. Yes. And I think it's not a personal thing. It's about saying, I just think that's an important decision to make because I'm part of a community. And I know when I go to this event or that event, they've all been vaccinated. Therefore, I feel safe.
How does COVID gonna end? Or are we hoping a third wave?
You can, with viral diseases, it's always very difficult. This pandemic is quite unique. I mean, we haven't seen anything like it maybe for 100 years. And it's a very novel virus. So it's difficult to make a decision about, will it stay around? Will it come back every year? Will it mutate to something different? Will it just go away and we'll never see it again? I suspect that it'll always be there in the background like a respiratory disease, but it will be kept under control because we now have great surveillance systems. We have a whole range of vaccines that work against all the different variants at the moment. So I think we've got the system under control, at least here in this country.
because some people I heard in news that there's a variant called Delta Plus, and which is far more far more dangerous than the normal one. So do we have the vaccines for that variant as well, or our vaccines gonna work? How are vaccines gonna work on that variant, Delta Plus maybe?
They work on the variants at the moment because the variants are all quite similar to the original Wuhan strain of the virus. Yes. It will only be if there is a significant mutation away from the original virus that the vaccines might start to fade. But at the moment, the vaccines are pretty active against all the variants that we know about.
That's really good then. Let's hope coronavirus is going to end really soon and we can enjoy our life being normal as usual.
No, but again, I think you can. If students just accept that the best thing to do is to get vaccinated, no real risk to doing that, a lot of benefit, then you can enjoy your community at the university, because last year was a terrible year for students. You want students to go to university and enjoy the life of the university and not worry about the fact that they might pick up a disease that's going to do them a lot of harm. So that's why I think, to get vaccinated is very important.
Possibility of getting, virus after double vaccination.
Well, you're quite right. You can be double vaccinated and you could probably still get the virus, but the symptoms will be very mild. So it's very rare, except in maybe vulnerable people, that if they've been double vaccinated and the vaccine hasn't properly worked, then you may get some more serious consequences. But normally, in anybody who's not immunocompromised or very old, then if you do get the virus after being double vaccinated, the symptoms are very mild.
I've seen virus has affected on different age groups, but some of the people with old age, they've been surviving with Delta variant. But on the other hand, I've seen lots of people at very young age, they did not survive this virus.
Well, there are a few, absolutely. It's quite rare. So if you look at the spectrum of people who've had the virus, then obviously it's more common in the elder age groups. As you come down, today you see more younger people getting the virus, but it's a very small percentage compared to the total. So you're quite right. It does affect some people, but it is quite rare for young people to suffer significantly with it.
Yes. And when the virus was on its peak, it was affecting people and people were dying at significant rate. And now some of the people have COVID and they just survive.
No. So first of all, you've got a virus that the immune system, our immune system, has never seen before. So immediately we're all very naive. And so initially, when the virus hit, you get a lot of people being very ill. Once you start to vaccinate those people and you build up immunity, then as you know, the disease then starts to shift more into the lower age groups because they have not been vaccinated. Now, of course, we're vaccinating most people over the age of 16, 17. So you're starting to see smaller and smaller numbers of those people getting the disease. So now in the UK, something like 80% of the population have been vaccinated.
Because a year ago, when if someone got affected by COVID, then it has become a very serious thing. And now, if someone is suffering from COVID, it's not that serious.
No, because the vaccine has really taken the steam out of the whole system. Absolutely right. Yeah. Because most vulnerable people now have been vaccinated twice. They've got reasonable antibody levels. And as you know, there will be a campaign starting in September to give people a booster, not for young people, but for those people who are vulnerable and people who are aged between 50 and above.
I came across a term called herd immunity. Can you explain me how does it work?
So if you take a disease like measles, which is a childhood disease, herd immunity works in that situation. As you know, we vaccinate all children. Basically, 90% of children are vaccinated, and therefore, even if you get measles, it can't explode. It can't explode because it finds no way out because people have been vaccinated. So that is basically what herd immunity is about. The herd had been vaccinated. Therefore, if one person in the herd gets the disease, it just disappears because it can't move.
Okay.
Whereas if they haven't been vaccinated, it spreads like a wildfire. Yes.
Yes.
So that's what herd immunity is all about. Making
Okay.
sure it's like the university. If you say all the students have been vaccinated, then you've got herd immunity.
100%. So it stops the chain reaction of a virus. And what would be your advice to the students now for the students who are coming to university, and for the students who are returning students and the new freshers?
Oh, I think they should, if they haven't already been vaccinated, they should certainly log in with their GP and get the first vaccine. If they don't have a GP, it doesn't matter because they can go to any GP practice and get vaccinated. So they can go into some, by the end of this week, I think there will be centres available for students just to pop into and get vaccinated. So I think the message is make sure you get your first vaccine now, and then in 12 weeks or 8 weeks, you can get your second vaccine, and then you'll be ready to enjoy the freshers' fare and your university life without worrying about the fact that you might get COVID and you might suffer the consequences of that.